It's another edition of Time About the Movies. We're looking at the movies of March 22nd, 1991 on this episode. And we got 4 movies to look at today, so let's go ahead and get right to it. We'll start with the biggest new release of all the new releases this week. It was the only one that had a major wide release, and why wouldn't it? It's the sequel to one of last year's biggest hits. It is, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. By the way, that's the international trailer there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 were actually released through 20th Century Fox in other countries. And I actually think Turtles 3 was also as well, but yeah, that's why you saw the 20th Century Fox logo there. So technically this is a Disney movie too, because of course Fox is now owned by Disney, but that's a whole nother story altogether. I have fond memories of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. This is actually the first movie that introduced me to the Ninja Turtles. I never saw the original movie. I didn't see the TV series at that point. This was the first thing that I saw, and mostly because I saw it on USA a lot back in the 90s. It was on TV there all the time. That one, and surprisingly not 1 or 3. It was always the second one that was always on TV. I don't know what it was back in the 90s, but since then I have seen all the Ninja Turtle movies and TV shows. I've seen the newer ones, which I like the newer Ninja Turtles movies. It's the Michael Bay ones I thought were actually pretty good for what they were. And yeah, the original Ninja Turtles, I've talked about the TV series in the past, and I've also talked about my thoughts on the original movie. And this one does hold a nostalgic piece in my heart because it is the first one that I ever saw. That being said, it is definitely a step down from the first movie. You could kind of tell from that trailer alone that they toned down the violence, they toned down the darkness of it big time because, of course, parents got offended because you see these turtles beating these ninjas up and using these ninja weapons and of course, typical parents, they see something that kids really like, and their first thought is always, well, gotta get rid of that. Gotta get rid of that. Gotta criticize these people that made this movie for trying to corrupt our children when, let's be honest, they're really doing it themselves. I mean, really, just, that's something else I can go off on altogether. But let's talk about this movie itself. It is definitely a major step down from the first movie, but it's still an enjoyable movie for anyone who still like the Ninja Turtles and wanted to see their latest adventure. This definitely works very well. Story-wise, it doesn't really work out as well as I think it does. We don't really get a full realization of what the secret of the ooze really is, stuff that we didn't know already. And that storyline of the ooze and how they turned these turtles into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has been something that has changed a lot over the course of this franchise's history. I mean, back in the original TV series, it was because they turned into Teenage Mutants because I guess they were touched by the human Splinter, and that's how they became. And there was a thing where it was like it was the last thing that you touched that you turned into, and then immediately after that, Splinter turns into a rat. I guess he touched a rat after he touched the turtles, but that's something that's always changed in these various different movies and TV shows that have come after this. But I said before, let's talk about Secret of the Ooze, and now I'm just going off into different Ninja Turtles media here, but yeah, Secret of the Ooze is a fun movie. It is definitely a very silly movie compared to the first film. The first film really took their time and effort. You can tell the time and effort was there to make something that not only appeased more to the fans of the TV series, but also the fans of the original comic books. While this one clearly felt like it's an adaptation of the TV series, right down to having these two new characters, Bebop and there I go again, thinking of the animated series, Toka and Razor, who are basically there to just sell toys, pretty much. I mean, they sold a lot of different Ninja Turtles toys based off of the villains alone, and you could just tell that the show was just adding these villains just to sell the toys. That was pretty much it. It was pretty much that, but I mean, they were fine for what they were, and they did provide a lot of good comic relief in the movie. And yeah, it's a very silly movie. I mean, for God's sakes, Vanilla Ice is in this movie, and what else do I need to say about that? It's just like, it's so ridiculous, but it works for this movie. There are things about the movie that are just like, Well, that was a big wasted opportunity, and of course I'm talking about the Super Shredder at the end of the movie. They set this up, they give him this look, and you think that, okay, now this is where the ante's going to get climbed up a lot, and he's literally there for 5 minutes. Literally there for 5 minutes. He knocks the pier down, the wood falls on him, and then it's just like, he's dead. It's just like, well, that was, thank you for wasting our time again. Like, at least in the first movie, the end of the film, Shredder at least did did cool things before while fighting the turtles. But in this, it's just like he shows up as a Super Shredder for like 5 minutes and then knocks the pier over, and it's like, that's it, that's all, folks. It's just like, it's a very stupid decision. But I mean, the movie is just a ton of fun. The opening scene alone, where you see just all these people eating the pizzas around New York City. Don't watch this movie on an empty stomach, because as soon as you see that scene, you will want to get a pizza somewhere. You will want to go out and get a pizza somewhere. It could be 4 o'clock in the morning watching this movie and be like, well, gotta go find a pizza place somewhere, or at least there to get pizza, because, man, they make that pizza look really good in the opening. And, so yeah, Secret of the Ooze is definitely a major step down from the first movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's a fun, nostalgic trip back. It's a very silly movie. Good fun all around. It definitely is not as good as the first movie, but it is what it is. It does enough to warrant a recommendation if you like the other Ninja Turtles things that came before this, and some of the things after this. Certainly beats the crap out of Ninja Turtles 3, I'll tell you that much. So, yeah, that's Secret of the Ooze for you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Albert Brooks' Defending Your Life. Such a great, underrated comedy. Albert Brooks really is one of those guys that he hasn't really skipped a beat. Like, he can still make movies that are very entertaining. He can still prove that he's very funny on screen. He's just one of those guys that anytime he does something, anytime he makes a new movie, anytime he makes an appearance in something, I'm there, because, like, he really has not lost a beat whatsoever. This may be his greatest piece of material that he's ever made. This is a wonderful movie that I'm really disappointed. I feel like a lot of people really do not know this movie even exists, and it's a shame, because it's a very good movie. It's a very funny movie. It's this really interesting idea of showing what the afterlife is like and how you have to defend your life in the afterlife. And it's just a very good movie. This movie is well casted. You have Meryl Streep, Rip Torn, Lee Grant, Buck Henry. Just phenomenal cast all around. The visuals in this movie still look very impressive, even over 30 years later. The dramatic elements are very good. There's a lot of allegories here that are actually put in here very smartly by Brooks. And it's just a wonderful movie. It's a very good movie that really, I don't think a lot of people really know about it. It's a shame, but luckily the Criterion Collection has put it out on Blu-ray and 4K in the last couple of years. Definitely seek this one out. I know the Criterion 50% off sales going on at the time of this taping on July 13th. Look for this movie there if you can, because it is a wonderful movie. A fantastic, underrated comedy. Another great comedy from 1991. I've talked about how 1991 was probably the greatest year for movie comedies overall. And here's another great example of it. Defending Your Life. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend checking it out. You will not be disappointed by the results of it. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie. It's the director of Driving Miss Daisy's follow-up to his Oscar-winning Best Picture, and that is Mr. Johnson. Of course, you see Pierce Brosnan in this movie, Edward Woodward, the Equalizer, and Maynard Isachi. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm not entirely sure. In his first film appearance, this is also the first film to actually shoot on location in Nigeria. So there's a lot of interesting things about this movie, and I can't really comment on it too much because I haven't seen it before. It's not one that I don't hear a lot of people really talk about, and this is, of course, like I said, the follow-up for Bruce Beresford after he did Driving Miss Daisy, which, when you follow up a movie that wins a Best Picture, you really expect something equally as good or just as good. But I don't know. I mean, I've seen that this got some pretty good reviews, But again, it's something that I don't think a lot of people really talk about all that much. I don't know if that's an indication of whether or not the movie is good or not, but I don't know. I might check it out one day. I'm not going to rush out to see it now, but it might be something I might check out in the future. I'm not going to say it's something I'll check out eventually, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So that's really all I got to say on this movie. I haven't really seen it, so I can't really comment on it. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Sharon Stone in Scissors. You know, there was an NBC special they did about 2 years after this movie came out, where they interviewed Arnold Schwarzenegger, Eddie Murphy, and Sharon Stone about their history in Hollywood and how they came to be, and Sharon Stone said this.
The road to Hollywood is tough. Schwarzenegger, Stone, Murphy.
I made a lot of pictures that weren't good just to keep working.
Yeah, this is one of those movies she's probably not proud of at all. The Right Stuff, Raging Bull, Rambo 1 and 2, Music Box, Audrey Rose, The Entity. You even see Psycho, and I guess they were trying to put in Nightmare on Elm Street in there with the Nightmare on there. You notice that in this trailer that the actual title of this movie, Scissors, is nowhere to be found except in the credits. That's how you know they were not proud of this movie whatsoever. And the trailer for this is so annoying. I did not even get to show you some of the stuff they do, but the characters in this are so annoying in this one trailer alone that let me just say I did you a favor by not showing you the entire trailer, because you would have lost your mind just as much as I did watching it. But whew, that was rough. And like I said, you can tell this is a movie that Sharon Stone's probably not proud that she made, but she did it for a quick paycheck. The premise doesn't even look like it makes any sense whatsoever. You got these two guys, played by the same actor, Steve Railsback, and Sharon Stone's character is harassed by this mugger who uses scissors as part of his thing to rape and to harass and rape this woman with, pretty much. I mean, it's just an idea that's just like, who thought of this, and who thought this would be a good idea to make as a movie? And what's even stupider is that the scissors are actually Sharon Stone's characters. The person that attacks her in the beginning of the movie uses those same scissors and stabs her she stabs him in self-defense. I'm getting so confused here because it's just like, this is such a stupid idea, and this whole idea, and you never really get a sense that they knew what they were doing. They made a movie that even Lifetime would look at this and go, "We're not giving you the money for this. Get the hell out of our offices." We're stupid. I mean, we make stupid movies, but this is a stupid idea. This is a terrible looking movie. I mean, it's a mess of a film, and I cannot believe somebody really thought that this was actually going to work and pay off in a big way, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't. It fails miserably on so many levels. It's a mess of a film. And, yeah, if Sharon Stone's not looking back at this and thinking, why the hell did I decide to do this movie, then clearly there's something wrong with her. And, hey, to her credit, though, after this, she made Basic Instinct, so way to go. Moving in the right direction. So yeah, that's Scissors for you. God, what a terrible movie that is. And with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and the next time we meet, we wrap up the month of March with 3 movies, including another great 90s underrated comedy, and that is Career Opportunities with Frank Whaley and Jennifer Connelly. We also have The 5 Heartbeats, and also The Unborn. So we're definitely looking forward to checking those out next time around. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, if you want to see more videos like this, check out the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next new episode. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and until then, as always, take care.